cold. Trench is cold.
Who's it? A high key, low key. You ain't really seen the titty unless you see the nipple. She ain't seen the balls. Yeah, true. A titty ain't a titty without the nipple. Yeah, that's true. So we got fun now. We have. You revolutionizing men's rights right here. You know what I'm saying, man? That's how much you do. Whenever we're all ready, I'm ready to start, guys. Let's smoke up, and then come in. Where? We can even smoke up while we do everything. It's all the same. Yeah, we out here. Before we start though, something I thought about on the way here. I wanted to, before we start everything, 2 things. First of all, moment of silence for what happened this weekend is Punza. Snarpark, yeah, with the kids and all. Just in 30 seconds, Yana. Pay our respects. Okay. WayTooTurboSessions, baby. And then the second thing was shout out to my barber, OJ, the producer. And yeah. And
why are we shouting out the barber?
I had to shout him out. You got me looking fresh for today. Got me looking fresh. And then yeah, we're out here, man. We've got someone that a lot of people who actually watch the show would know already, but might be your first time seeing her in front of the camera. This is my friend Uqaida. Hey, Qai.
You always say my formal name. Uqaida. I thought we were working on this nickname thing. That's what I mean. You're about
Which one are you more comfortable with?
I don't know.
Qai. The thing is, I'm weird with nicknames. Full name.
You know, my boss gave me one that I actually liked for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the obviously all the multinationals and MY people couldn't say my name.
Okay.
He'd be like, I'll introduce her. Hi, this is Chai.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone knows chai tea.
Chai tea.
Has chai. So maybe we could go with the chai.
Chai. Babes WeChakra wami again.
I'm all over the place. There's many.
Multifaceted.
Multidimensional. Sometimes in zoba. Babes WeChakra. Sometimes in zoba chai. Sometimes zoba shenane. You never know what you're gonna get.
I feel you.
Never know what you're gonna get.
I get you. Nah, but thank you for inviting me out here today. We are Sisapumlani Namhlanje, and as you guys have seen, we've been traveling a lot with the show, and to invite you, we've got everyone else out here. Ali, we've got yeah, we're out here. And Abulela, man, guys. So Kwai, tell me, we were speaking before earlier on, and as much as I introduced you as Umdu, that's been part of the show, that's been instrumental in WayTooTurboSessions being what it is. Tell us what we are formally here for today. Firstly, what you working on? What you been up to? What you got going on?
Okay, nothing much. Smoking them blunts, being happy, all that shit. But one thing that's been as I was saying, that's actually kind of a focus in my life right now. It's the African Muse project that I've been working on with Mark Fredericks.
Yeah.
So.
Who's Mark Fredericks, and what does Mark Fredericks do?
Shout out, Mr. Fred. I'm gonna send you the link. So, Mark Fredericks, I met him when I studied journalism.
Sure.
He was my photojournalist lecturer, and then he went on to become a mentor of mine in many things, but particularly photography and editing videos. We spent hours in the Mac lab.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Fred kind of saw something in me that I hadn't seen. Because it started with the documentaries we'd watch, and talk about them. He'd recommend documentaries. So come on.
Yeah.
And then he tells me about this project that he's working on. A sort of like a little baby that he's been grooming for a couple of years now.
Sure.
The African Muse project.
Yeah.
So he showed me the first draft of Inwadi. It had these images, like some of the most beautiful images I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And at first it was kind of like, why does this old man have a whole book of naked ladies?
Oh,
like,
that type of stuff. Okay.
What you doing?
Yeah.
Because it was kind of weird. Because I'm like, okay, look, that don't go and
yeah.
And then he kind of makes me watch a documentary. And when I watched the documentary, I think, like, to say touched would be an understatement, because I think when you see something and it awares you to into bukate uyazba ikhona, and it's a problem, but you weren't really
addressing
or paying much attention to it. Yeah, well, so the goal behind the whole African Muse project was that Mr. Fred, being a lecturer, and a mentor to a lot of young people, he came across some of his students, that have been abused.
Okay.
Some of them were sexually abused, some were physically abused in terms of ubetwa, some were emotionally abused. And how he would let them tell their story was through photography, which is something that is very close to him and passionate ngayo. It's like his art. It's his way of telling stories. So what he'd do is that he would, for example, a rape victim. There's one picture that's like stuck with me. There's this lady. She's in one room, and she's naked in the shadows, and then there is a man in the other room looking at her. Yeah, well, but she's looking right at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and she's standing boldly naked.
Yeah.
And the story behind that is that Losisi, she was being molested by an uncle who lived Kowabo. Yeah. And how she kind of took back her power was by posing naked, facing this man and looking right at him. Yeah. Sort of saying, it's my body.
I can,
It's not your weapon.
Yeah.
It's my body.
Yeah.
So for me, it resonated like on so many levels.
Yeah.
And I sat and I listened to the stories. I listened to what
so
these
so in this book they had he had these pictures that he'd taken that already tell so much of the story, and then he would tell you what's behind that. Or
there's an interview that he does with you, and then it goes into the documentary part of the project.
So it's like a whole,
like it's a,
you gotta like be immersed into
like,
the whole thing.
It's a whole.
I get you.
So for me, at first I joined the project as the assistant. I'd help him when he's taking pictures or interviews in the and whatnot. I'd chaperone for him, because when the ladies come through for the photo shoots, he has someone else there so that he's trying to so he'd have his wife there, or have you can bring whoever you want to bring. So sometimes he'd ask me to chaperone for one of the ladies, so I'd be there and I'd help out. And then during one of our conversations, he says, "No, man, I'd like to." It first started with an interview. I think it was in my third year. He's like, "Kad, I'd like to tape you. Let's have a young chat." I think Ngoga was after Uyinene's unfortunate death. And that thing, it hit me hard, man. Like I was at every night vigil, as like every march, like I was just there. Like it hit me hard. And one of the stories I had to do because I was studying journalism, right? So one of the stories I had to do for the radio was one of the marches that were being held, and I was there. I was interviewing people. I was listening to the people. Like it just hit me hard so much that, like, I think for a whole week, I didn't have any contact with other people, because it was really like it paralyzed me. After that, and he tells me, but no, let's do an interview. So we do an interview, and I talk to him. We have this conversation. After that, I left for Cape Town, and a lot of things happened in my life, so that so much that he calls me. That's when I did my first photo shoot. Okay. And from there, I go and.
So this is after like how long were you gone?
This is after like a year and a half. Yeah, but I do my first photo shoot after a year and a half. Like for me, it was a process. I think. There are certain things that had to happen for me to get to the point whereby I was like, I'm posing. Like, you don't just wake up and decide about you're gonna pose naked.
I still don't think I'd be able to.
Like, it's not something of God be like, see, Yeah, but
Yeah.
like
You got
for
it.
me, it was like a year and a half. Like ukubone, and at first it was at first my first interview. Why? Like he'd ask me questions about being a black woman in society and how I feel. How do I feel safe and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot. And I came to realize after the first interview, but there's a lot of things that I let slide.
Okay.
Ukubone. Things like that she put at the back of your mind where ube like that was actually inappropriate and I let it slide.
Yeah.
Like I think back to when I was
Jokes.
little, and my big brother had friends, and how umdu would hold you in a certain way. Umdu would, like, I remember the incident.
Yeah, like bicycle.
So so then this nigga came and he literally stood behind me.
Yeah.
Doing that shit. Yeah, well. So when I think about izinto ezinjalo and how many times I decide to change my outfit because I know bands this is gonna happen.
That time doesn't even require you to like wear that
at all. Doesn't matter what you wear.
You could be clothes.
Yeah,
because
and it's still gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, well, because if you're saying it's what I'm wearing, what was umakhulu omdala oRachel wearing? What was an infant wearing?
Thank you.
Yeah, well, so what yintoni le ukhubone? So I just started asking myself those sort of questions, you know.
Yeah.
And when I left and I went to Cape Town, and like a lot of things in my life happened, and when I came back, there was a change, ukubone, and I was ukubone xa ukhe usuke kowenu and uhambe uhlala endaweni ongayazi awunabani awunandoni ukubone, when you have to fend for yourself, ukubone. Because for me the first week of Cape Town was like hectic because I wasn't coming here. I was up and there because when you going in down at the ban opportunity ukubone. So I'm literally relocating here and I didn't know I was coming here.
Damn.
Ukubone. So get res. Most of my shit is res. There's no suitcase one. Like in the one.
Yeah.
The one.
I got pressure low processor because
I got processing. Because
in
in your signing contract and you're paying. I got processing. Look, I don't know where I'm gonna stay. Nothing. Okay. So they be like, okay, as in loan, I'm gonna do this. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. I stay at the Backpackers on Long Street. If you've been to Cape Town, you know, but you can't live on Long Street.
I've heard.
Like Akula, Long Street, but you why?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's the only place I could afford because I was paying like $250 a night for a lap in Long Street.
Sure.
And I mean, if I can get business down, I'm not paid to be here all the time, you know, like. So
reception. So basically, you're paying for a night. You get kicked out.
And then
So you
So you aren't even renting properly.
Nah.
You are in a B&B,
like it's okay. Share reception. So
you can't even you couldn't even talk to them and have an arrangement or some shit.
No, like ukubone. So for like a week, about Zabam have a flat. I tried that, didn't work out. I was like, traveling, not gonna do it. And then I got a place.
yeah.
And Nalenda only the first place I lived at, then the rented 2.1. The rented room.
Okay.
Le room in a single bed no wardrobe.
Yes.
So basically, this is like a room, and I'm sharing the rest of the house with the people. Yeah. And I see
Y'all got a fridge at least there.
Yeah. So you know, things like that. I had to go through that. All of this. I got a proper 9 to 5 job. Sometimes it's 9 to 9. Like I can't predict. Yeah. So I'm trying to settle in at the same time. Work is like the lap. And at work, I'm meeting people. I'm been addressed certain ways because, you know, I'd be with men.
Yeah.
I'm talking heads of states.
Okay.
I'm talking ambassadors.
Yeah.
I'm talking multi-millionaires.
Sure.
I remember there was this one time I was the tutorial committee yenye festival and the highest esteemed person who was there was the Consul General of the Netherlands.
The fuck does he do?
He's a Consul General of the Netherlands.
Those titles, like, what do, like, and there's even there's a titles
he's ambassador.
Oh.
Ambassador.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's got money. I won't lie, but
and the lowest person in the room was me.
Jesus.
And the youngest.
Yeah, and knowing men without money, imagine.
And you know, when you're in situations like that, and men see the vulnerability,
okay,
then it creates chance for the bona. It by opportunity yoba say, "Hi man, ngizakufaka."
Yeah.
Kawenze kaloku. Yabo. It just starts with the first is the inappropriate jokes that you're supposed to like.
Yeah, it's always those.
Oh, you got naughty eyes.
It's the same. Jokes.
But the naughty eyes. Naughty eyes. And class kaloku, but the naughty eyes. Like how? And then it becomes the nigga in the elevator.
Yeah, inappropriate touching.
And then you're like, hey man, when does it stop?
Where's my hug ass niggas?
You know? And then you're like, where does it stop? Like, hey, so somebody nini? I beg 10. Like it was always a thing whereby like in Cape Town, like I said, I had no one, so I'd go out alone.
Yeah.
Like in they go to a restaurant, go alone. But was invite my house now.
Yeah, trying to like.
And then try to convince you, let's go to Johannesburg.
Yeah.
And then,
but like,
it was with my relationships. I started seeing patterns in my relationships. And that's when I was like, nah, man, it can't like, you know. It took for me to sit and look at myself, and I was like, all this time, Lendon di harmony can't give it.
Yeah, nah.
You know, my mom said this one time, hey, you know, parents and their jokes. She says to me, Nana, bandandu qalela ngoba ubukhulu ba umhle. Noba ungenamntana ngoku. So for me, yeah, it was kind of like, how dare you?
Yeah.
And then I think about the headspace I was in. And I'm like, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Because you know, the constant seeking of the approval, their attention, yonke laa nto ikhangela.
Validation.
Ikhangela because ekugqibeleni wena you can't look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you beautiful, I love you, like I got you. So now I'm gonna need someone else to say that.
And that should be the first person you hear it from.
And ke ngoku njengoba ndizokhangela omnye into ozayithetha loo nto, whoever says it, you're going to be the most important thing in my life because undinika that validation. And ke ngoku I'm gonna put you on a pedestal so much that no matter how badly you treat me, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not putting up boundaries because I need you at the end of the day to tell me uyandithanda. So nakundiqhaba ngempama, as long as ba uzawuthi uyandithanda xa ugqibile, then it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Now it's a constant pattern.
Yeah, well. And then I was like,
how did you and there was nobody in the fast forward but how did you or how would you suggest Umdu comes out of that cycle, because it's in a lot of things. It could be in a person, that validation could be in a person, could be in a group of people, it could be in something. It could. How would you suggest Umdu get through something like that? Cycle.
For me, how I was able to move past it, I won't lie, it's what I always say, shadow work.
Okay, yeah, shadow work.
you know me and shadow work, like I'm always gonna say shadow work.
Yeah,
like
anytime Ukwai would give me advice about something, she'd always give the advice and then include do shadow work.
Yes.
Do shadow work.
Important. Yeah. That's where WeChakra comes in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because the minute I was able to sit and say, I am the light, and I am the darkness, shit started to make sense to me. I started realizing why I do certain things. Then okay, Lena Indo is a reaction to this.
Okay.
And I started understanding most of my actions were actually projections of how I felt about me and how much I would always fight my darkness.
Yeah.
Instead of embracing it, so that it balances out with my light. So the minute I started recognizing the little things about you, those things so you start with the little things, when I think about it, I'm actually a good liar, like in the little.
Yeah, and you don't want to think that. Because there's such a connotation around it. Meanwhile, like, dude, you're talking to yourself. I come to like judge except you.
Exactly.
Like
It's like creating a safe space within yourself.
Yeah.
Holding space for you.
Yeah.
And saying it's okay.
Yeah, but
now how do we move forward? How do I change this being a liar?
Yeah.
You know how do I
what makes you lie?
But then now, like in terms of now that constant cycle we're talking about earlier on, you can't really say that you're the one. Yeah, you could blame yourself, nah? But then there's also the second party or the second whatever that is maybe hitting you and then saying Ndiaktanda, and then because they know that there's la validation when we think they use that as like you said something to use against you, and you also letting it can be used against you because you might not be knowing in land by suka.
Funny enough, that for me that was the breaking point where I was in a relationship where ubone, you know you're only good for something. You know that the minute you're bare and it's just you, you're not acceptable. You're acceptable when you're putting something on the table. And uzamfumana la I love you. Qha funeka qala utheng pizza. You know, I'm just making a stupid, don't take pizza. Uzofika la uyabona funeka azi I love you. Uthenge pizza. Yabo ukhubone. And then I was like, no man.
Overextending yourself.
Ingxaki apha yilewe yoba xa ndithi ndiyahamba because ndizahamba nami ndiyibona uba jonga ndiyaqheleka ne. And ndibe like no except fethu ndiyayibetha yabo. Phofu never mind ndiyibetha kwam hle ndicherry kwam ndimoyibethayo ufuna ndixoleba ndiyayibetha yayibo. So that's when I was like, nah man. In fact, jonga qha ilula lento. I've never hidden the fact that I suffer from chronic depression, right? And it took a lot because it's first the beating yourself up part. Call that la phase you back.
Yeah.
You gonna beat yourself up.
That's when you start realizing about using the liar land okay, and maybe I'm a good liar, yeah.
And then it got to the point where I'd go 3, 4 in the AMs. I'd stand on my balcony and I'd have this urge to jump.
Jesus.
Most people don't know why Dex is my best friend.
Yeah.
Dex and I weren't close until 2019.
Yeah.
2018 we were friends, but 2019.
Yeah.
Dex wayibamba call yam noba ndifona nini because he knew I'd call and ba ndifone ngo 3, 4 ekuseni, he knows what's up.
Yeah.
He'll answer the phone and he's gonna say breathe. I need you to get the fuck off that balcony and breathe.
Yes.
Because uyayazi like into 5 2 bandits ukhubone like it got to that low.
Yes.
Because now this person omncamela everything ohlele naye apha endlini is now the same person who's accusing me of having an affair with my boss because he's just trying to stir shit up.
Jesus.
Because and yonke lento uyibalila yena uzayixelela le maths uyibalile and you're like
those people are smart, guys. Those people are smart.
And you're like
they'll make you wonder why I'm wearing these socks today.
And then I think after beating myself up because I knew what was happening. Ne? And again ngoku la way yoba ayibo njani qhaida uyeka njani, how can this be you?
Yeah.
So instead of ukuzirhuqa out of the situation, I'm still on some hayi qhaida njani.
Yeah.
And then I reach out to people outside the situation.
Yeah.
And then the situation got worse because the people I reached out to
went back to
yaphinda yabuyela. And then now ndiyakhonjwa ke ngoba uyaxela. Yeah, well, and then I'm like, yo, dog, this is like a heavy cycle. Mama wa phone imini yayi-1. Wathi buya. She didn't need to convince me. I was on the bus home, same time.
Out.
And that's when
you.
That was me. Like that was me. Like at that time, Dandy beneath the bottom even. Like kwakusinyikwa.
Yeah. So then around which time do you meet Mr. Fredericks at because I'm assuming now you've gone back home. Né?
Dibuyele. I think it was. I told him I was back because he knew the circumstances of where because my mom had reached out.
Sure.
And so basically he was my support system, and I think like 2 months after I'd come back, because for a proper month I went off the rails. Like, I'm talking Xanax, I'm talking alcohol, I'm talking everything I could get.
Yeah.
Like, when I came back, I was like, give me everything. Like if it's gonna make it stop, give it to me. Yeah, well, and then I think I went through a proper detox because when umzali wakho seyincamile.
Yeah.
Bona ke zalokhu uzinikwayo nje qhaqa zonqonqoza ngo2 ekseni.
Yeah. Akusathethwa nawe yajonga.
Yabo? Mna mama uvele wathi jonga. Utata wakho besithi manje ukusikela isithixo. Aqomba. Hayi late. Xolo. Yekile. Cuz bro, for me that was like nah. Ukubone. And so I kind of sobered up. Met up with Mr. Fred, and that's when I had my first photo shoot. I probably would have had it earlier but I think it had to be a process, nyani, because before leaving for Cape Town, we were already speaking of having a photo shoot. But the nigga I was in a relationship with then was like, nah,
you're not gonna
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's my
Kulula?
beauty. You are mine.
Yeah. So when I went eventually, it was a thing about. I even looked back to the shit like that. I could have done this earlier.
Yeah, this is more reason.
Because after I posed the first time, and I'd had my interview, the relief. The relief, like when you talk about things that you thought you'd never ever speak about, and Mr. Fred, like it's so therapeutic. Like I never knew. Like even the whole posing, it was like for me it was like I should have done this sooner, but then again I needed to be at this point.
I feel you. For it to mean that much now.
For it to mean that much.
Yeah.
Ukubone. And it's the last one I had was in Feb. The last shoot I had was in Feb. And I still stand by it. I'm always like the experience, the experience, like it's freeing. Like it's freeing because
I feel you.
It's like you're literally naked, like emotionally, physically, everything. Like you just let go.
It's interesting how you found your own therapy. You've literally chosen your own therapy. You're like, you heard the system saying, okay, get a psychologist, get this. You found your own way to therapeuticize yourself, if that's even a word.
Because it's like I learned to accept and love myself also in the process, because like it's me, dog. Like I can't like they ain't gonna Photoshop nothing there. It's just me.
I've seen some of the work that you shared before of his, and I didn't know like it actually meant that much to you. So like it's interesting to hear the backstory and how much
I know a lot of people are just like, oh no, she's just posting naked pictures of herself on the internet. No.
But it's essential yabonakala, man. It's not like the usual stuff. They very you can tell there's artistic direction of some sort to Kubona.
There's a difference between nudity and art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So another thing that I wanted you to tell us is like, because you spoke about what you do, right? And I was like, I'm excited to actually hear the answer to what you actually do is, because even though like I've worked with you, been around you, I still can't put a finger as to you do everything. You like you vibe ba yafuneka ukukhona. Yes. No.
Oh.
So what do you officially and like formally do?
Officially and formally.
Okay,
You vibe, man.
You vibe, man. Yeah, official, like formal vibe. Yeah.
Yo, what do I do? It's a very. I consider myself a creative. Ne? In the terms that I am literally governed by creativity.
Yeah. Okay.
It's literally in everything I do. You know, when I wanted to take a gap year, my parents were like, gap year.
Yeah.
And then my dad, and then my dad's like, and I'm like, no, dog. But when my mom said to me, Tatako Utiambo apply journalism, I was like, that actually sounds like something I'd love to do.
Yeah.
So when I applied, I went for my interview. I was like, okay, I could actually pull this shit off.
Yeah.
And as part of my modules, I had photojournalism, I had broadcasting, which was radio and TV.
Sure.
I had media studies, which was the media law, and then I had politics. Now, former me in high school, the debate me was into politics, like anything politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep you for hours. I had the lowdown on everything. So I was very excited when I saw I was going to be doing politics. I was so excited when I saw it doing camera work, radio, you know. I was so excited when I was doing media law. Like, so I feel like my media studies and all was like a collective of the things in Tando's.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's how I became acquainted with the camera. That's when I started taking pictures. That's when I started actually hanging around musicians also. Because once I got my camera, I was out and about now. Yeah. And then I've always enjoyed music. Music had always been my own thing. But it's my vibe. I started going to live shows. I started meeting people. And then that actually went into me assisting a friend of mine, Ukama. I started managing his shit, started managing his gigs, started being present for his process when he was writing songs. I'd be there. I started there, and I was like, I actually love this shit.
You fuck with the shit.
I was like, I could be doing this.
Yeah.
And then I realized when I went into corporate, but everything I do was actually governed by the artistic me, because when I got into corporate, I started organizing. All of a sudden, I started organizing gigs at 17, where I'd get live bands to come play. If we're hosting like a seminar, I'd have a live band in between. I'm taking the pictures. We're not hiring anyone to take the pictures.
Yeah.
I can
You're
take the
doing
camera
shit.
and I'm taking the
That's
pictures.
how I say you do everything.
I-poster phofu liphumileyo ye-invite yenzwe ndim.
Yeah.
So I was like,
You got a skill.
like, what am I doing in corporate when I can do all of this shit?
Yeah.
Ukubone. So it kind of became very depressing because, you know, I hope this email finds you well. Yo, that shit would. Yo!
Yeah.
Like I hate emails till this day because of that. Ukubone. Like I just knew my life wasn't there. After that, I started working with a Pine. Oh, shout out.
Yeah, shout out Pine.
I started working with a Pine after I'd worked with a whole lot of other people because even when we were like corporate, all my friends that were artists, like from Mapemont, I'd literally call them. They'd be in Cape Town living in my place. So flat in the arms there by 10, 5. Because the weekend I'm going to them niggas gigs. Like we got gigs. Like I'm the one taking videos and photos. Like so even though I was working in corporate, sometimes weekdays put my office in there like a better camera when in there like a gig. Yeah, well so for me it felt like this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. And then when I started working with Pine and we were in the studio, like quite 3 weeks, studio. Yeah, well, and record, we're having conversations in between. I knew this is my life. Like while he's doing the music, even though I'd have an input and booze up and up, okay, how does this sound? How does no. Like I became accustomed even to process it. Yeah, I care when he's writing. Would hang around with the sound wave for mic 53. Like I'd literally be the only person in the room that doesn't go to the mic. Otherwise, everyone in the room is going to the mic. Me, I'm just holding it down. I'm just making sure. You want water? I give you water. Beer, give you beer. Replace this word with this. I'm like, that beat. Hi-hat power or whatnot. Like that will just be me. Like so. Like when I say I am the vibe, I'd literally just
that's
make
what I'm
sure
thinking,
that won't go around.
Maintain your vibe.
Comfortable. Come on, and that the work is getting out there. And then I also Pine likes to say I'm the glue, because he says my people skills. Like I've connected him with so many people, so that someone said go say PE ya khalaza uthi like I need you in my life. Like you know my people skills are non-existent and and I need you to be here to connect me with people. Because as like I think even all the people in my life, they end up being intertwined in some way, because I'm always like
I can vouch for that, bro, because like you linked me myself with a lot of people on Mike 53, the Mike 53 episode, the Pine episode. I think there's another one, food. Yeah.
So like iba ilo weke, and for me, I think that's where I enjoy being. I love holding space.
Yeah.
I might not be a musician, but I love music. I love music. Like it's just the creative in me. I think it just comes with being a Pisces also. Like it dominates.
Okay.
And luckily, it also attracts other creators.
Yeah.
So.
And then on top of that, your people skills go.
Yeah, but even though I don't actually really like people, people skills is I think they go along with my acting skills, because after a certain amount of time, they're shut down. And I'm always zoning in and out, even in the spaces I'm in. Yeah. So I'll introduce you to someone and then I'll leave it to you to be acquainted with them because barely like on the talk time but I always try because as much as I think my relationship with people is weird because the nglamntu boyikayo abantu in the terms of ndiyoyika uphoxeka yabo
Okay.
ndiyoyika uphoxeka and ingaske ndikuthande but ndingakusondezi
Okay. Once
ndizoba invested yabo like I'm overly invested in people like friends everything like we met and how long did it take us to be acquainted and be good friends like the our time basondeza abantu but at the same time I'm also nah you gonna fuck me up so it's just me and also man the reason why also one of the many reasons why Udex is my my best friend Chomia it's because Udex ndiyakwazi ufona ndithi ndiyaphuma ekhaya ndiza kowenu Udex is short bana yam and fika you roll a joint we gonna smoke a joint we're gonna listen to some music I can sit the whole day like Udex nganqonkona naye hle naye akamind uzandibuza ba ukin sure go bring food ibona like that here yeah sinqonkona hleke bemnandi phinde ngicwaka phela imini hle sobabini thulethe cwaka namthole he knows I'm not mad I'm not upset I'm me I just chill
I think I had to remember that today earlier on when we were chilling. I was like quiet. I'm like
you see it's that
yeah
well like I'm that person okay like it's nasekhaya like ibangathandi ngikhona like engaskeke abantu who are around me they understand a lot about as much as I am that person but I'm also that person and I think that's why my friendships last so long like even no pain grew to understand but ndizohlala nawe but ndizothula mfethu like and andiqumbanga chomi akho nto wrong but I love your company like ndize apha kowenu ndifuna uhlala nawe but ingase singancokoli man ngaske siphole like sihlale ukubona just hold space ukubona and just be comfortable with the silence ukubona so I'm just one of those people but some days I won't shut up we'll sit together and I'm gonna talk your ear off and that's okay too
true
like it's just me being me and so when it comes to my people skills that's where it gets tricky because dawulahleka mna texteli mna 3 months yonke ngithi hi chomi and bawuthi hi chomi mna ndozo understand ba uqumbele ntoni ncenga textaka for 3 months ukuba ingaske understand in that regard because I make it a point to try and understand the people who are around me
true
so I guess I'm just that person.
I feel you. But I'm all around excited to see all the stuff you guys are working on, Mr. Fredericks. And WeChakra, please remind me the 3 things you guys are working on.
It's a documentary. It's the book, and then there's gonna be those exhibition. Yes.
Oh,
for
sure.
The pictures and the book.
Okay, and then where do we go? Must find out more information and.
You can actually just search African Muse on Instagram.
Sure.
I think most of the information is there. Like the pictures, snippets of the documentary. Like you'll find most of it there. Or search for Mr. Fred. His at the underdog
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram. There's some stuff on his profile. Or you can just go on my profile at WeChakra, and then you'll find some with I've tagged them on some pictures there.
Yeah, shout out. I appreciate you, Choma. Thanks for bringing me out here. And we need to do this again.
Yes.
And just chill out, man, and have more fun and create is cool, Choma, man. Yeah, man.
Like forever. Like
Yeah.
always what I say, growth, importance there, that one. Like I feel like it might not be visible to other people, the growth yako, but if you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, you know, I've grown from yesterday, like today.
And and how much work you put in.
And how much work you put in. Yo.
Yeah. So now I appreciate these conversations with you and for you to actually shed light and be the person who sheds light on these type of things with me on the podcast.
Yes.
So I appreciate
for once, I'm on the podcast and I'm taking his man. Yo, I'm
you.
so proud of myself.
That's it. It's true.
Hey! I've said some shameful things on this podcast. Yo!
No. Nyani, when I look at the first few episodes,
Yo!
I said some wild shit. Yeah.
Yo,
There's some wild shit on there.
Wale.
So,
The one with Ukanya. I want to call it say no man.
But I mean, it was all facts though. We didn't say anything like out of the box like that. It's just that most people don't have the conversations that we have. Yeah.
Out loud. On camera for other people. Yo.
But I appreciate you, Chobaba. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we are WayTooTurboSessions, baby. We out. Yeah. Thank you, bro.